So he wants to pull the deeper truth out of that. And then he's going to pull the deeper truth out of that. And this is going to be beautiful. Anyone here who is a true storyteller, when this hits its denouement, you're going to just go, wow. D-A-N-G-E-R-F-I-E-L-D, Dangerfield.
Intermission.
Hello people, there are some audio issues in this feature. I haven't got the system, the software or the skills to do anything about it. I've tried, I've cleaned it up as much as possible. It's just my spoken voice is a bit louder than the source material, and they're kind of whispering anyway. It's more than watchable, but trust me, if you're a writer or any creative, this could be some of the best advice you've ever seen. And give it time. It starts a bit slow, but once you get to it, it's mind-blowing. So if you trust me, give it a go. Hello there, my name is Chris Dangerfield. I'm a writer. I published my first novel when I was 23. It took about 3 weeks to write, an half ounce of amphetamine. Sold nearly 10,000 copies. I've done all the marketing myself. The first thing I ever sent away to a magazine when I was 18 got published. I got sent a contract and a check for some money. I've been working on a novel for 7 years. That's going to be coming out soon. But if you want to check my actual credentials, go to my Substack, link in the description, and you can see how I write. However, it's a waste of time because the real learning here comes from this fella, Jack Grapes. This changed my life. Arrogantly, because when I watched it, most of it, not all, I did learn something, but most of it was what I was already doing, and it made me feel that I'm doing something right. And that was important to me. And I think if you're a writer, this could be the best bit of writing advice you've ever heard. Let's hear what Jack Grapes says. He's being interviewed by a lady named Karen. Sit back and have your life changed. Here we go. Listen to the question she asks him.
What is a transformational line?
It's a sentence with I in it that you then massage to go deeper.
It's very simple. A sentence, a statement with I in it. I go to the shops. I go out. But then you work it like a sculptor puts a bit of clay on his table, starts working it. He said massage. And this is what we do as writers. Writers haven't got clay. Writers have to get words down. They have to get the words down, and then they have to start moulding them and refining them, making them better, making them mean something, making them emotional, making them something that people want to read, and that they can say, yeah, I know that, I feel like that, whatever the subject is. Because if you can hit someone, if you can hit the reader on an emotional level, the content's really by the by. But the content will mean something more if you get them on that emotional level. How do we do that?
Can we have an example?
Yeah, say something with I in it.
Okay.
Now, one of the problems with writers is they want to be writers. I'm a member of a few writing groups on Facebook, and I'll be honest with you, I only go on there to take the piss out of them, because they all want to be writers. Every single post on every Facebook members group I'm a member of is a humble brag. Hey, I'm struggling with this bit in my novel where the main character discovers that his dad isn't his real father, but it feels a bit loose. Can anyone help me? Here it is. And then it's like 5 pages of blatantly first scrawl. They just want people to read their stuff. There's no work in there. They obviously don't. There's no conversation. People leave comments, leave answers, but the answers are usually examples of their writing or how they do it. The whole thing is just people getting a little bit of their writing out there. Now, the interviewer's got a bit of that about her. She wants to impress this bloke, so she's trying to be like a writer. And you've got to forget all of that. Don't be a writer. You know, there's so many people out there who want to be a writer. They want to have dinner parties and say, I'm a writer. They've got no passion for storytelling. They've got no passion for risk-taking. They've got no passion for getting in trouble with what they say. They just want to be a writer. Because historically it's romantic. Historically it's intelligent. Or actually it's just telling stories, which we all do all day long. If you want to do it and get paid for it, you've just got to do it considerably better. You know, think about your day today. You woke up. What was the first thing you do when you spoke to someone? You told them a story. How are you? Yeah, I'm alright. What have you been up to? Oh, I'll tell you what, the other day, bang, you're straight into it. You might have to go to the dentist. You talk to the dentist, you tell them a story. Well, the thing is, I've got this tooth on my left side and it's fine for like months, but then suddenly it's just really sensitive. We tell stories. That's how humans connect. And that's fine. But if you want to go up into if you want to rise into the upper echelons of people who get paid to tell their stories, you've got to refine it a bit more. And Jack Grapes is about to explain how to do that. Our interviewer hasn't quite got it, but it's quite interesting to see her trying to be a writer, and because of that, she can't do it, and you'll see. She gets her in the end though, and it's not an easy thing. You know, if I didn't know about this and I was sitting in front of Jack Grapes, I would have probably made similar mistakes. I'd hope to have, because when you make mistakes, you learn.
I've been really thinking about my life.
Okay, so about my life is what we call the birthday cake. Get rid of that.
Okay.
So now you're left with, I've been really thinking.
Okay.
Okay, now, what's the deeper truth? What's the...
Right, and this is key to all of this. So she could have said anything. All he asked for was a statement with I in it. And she said, I've been really thinking about my life. He gets rid of my life. He describes it as a birthday cake. You know, it's just not necessary. Because when we're looking for deeper truths, the important stuff here is I've been thinking. I've been really thinking. Now, what does that mean? She knows what it means, but it's under a load of rubbish. But she knows she's been really thinking, so he wants to pull the deeper truth out of that. And then he's going to pull the deeper truth out of that. And this is going to be beautiful. Anyone here who is a true storyteller, when this hits its denouement, you're going to just go, wow. And you maybe will recognise it as well from your own practice. And it is about practice.
The answer to the question, what is the story of my life and what is the truth of who I am? The answer to that is, I've been really thinking. Okay? So, have you grokked that? What is the story of your life and what is the truth of who you are? I've been really thinking.
Sure.
Have you got that?
I've been really thinking.
Okay. Now,
that's the story of her life. She's happy to say that's the story of her life. Now the weird thing is, you know, we are divided beings. We are conscious and unconscious, and there's a continual battle going on. But the story of her life is that she's been really thinking. Sounds banal, doesn't it? Sounds mundane. But she's put something out there. And all you need to do is learn how to find the deeper truth, the deeper truth, the deeper truth, the deeper truth. And you'll get to the point where, that's what's going on. And that's when it's there, at that point, you start telling stories. Stories that people want to read, stories that people will pay for.
don't forget, there's another concept. See, there's a lot of stuff that goes to demonstrate this. It's called the other side of the same coin. And the other side of the same coin is not the opposite. It's the same thing said from the other end. So if I say...
Right, so remember he teaches this stuff and he's doing probably what would be a 3-hour lesson in a couple of minutes here. So this is another one of the things that they do to get to these deeper truths. He's now talking about the other side of the same coin, as you heard. But it's important.
I'm always late for work. The other side of the coin would be I'm never early.
You got that? Yeah. If I'm always late for work, the other side, not the opposite, not I'm never late for work, but I'm never late for work. The other side of the same coin is I'm always early. These are ways and techniques of getting to the deeper truth. And he's just given that as an example, but he'll get back to the original direction now.
If I say I take my time when I go to work, the other side of the coin would be, well, I never take my time when I go to work. The other side of the coin would be I always give. I never take, I always give. Same thing from the other side. So what is the other side of the coin to I've been really thinking? What's the other side of the same coin?
I don't know.
Well, let's look at the word thinking. What does thinking imply that you're not doing?
Been examining things.
What?
I've been examining things.
No, that's the same idea.
Okay.
What does it imply that you're not doing? If you're always thinking, what are you not doing?
I'm not living.
I'm not living. So, I've been thinking about something in my life. Get rid of something about my life. That's birthday cake. I've been really thinking. Other side of the coin is I've not been really living.
I mean, look already where this woman's got to. I've not been living. What a disaster. What a terrible confession. What a place of pain. I haven't been living. But we're still superficial. We're still up here. And yet there's ways to keep uncovering.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So say those two lines.
I've not been really living.
No, I've been really thinking. I've not been really living.
I've been really thinking. I've not been really living.
And what's the deeper truth underneath that, Karen?
It's amazing the way he uses her name then, because this is intense. She now knows that she's vulnerable. And if you're not going to be vulnerable, you're not going to be a writer. I mean, you can write commuter trash, but unless you're going to be vulnerable, unless you're going to take risks, unless you're prepared to be an open book, and I don't care what you're writing, if you want it to be emotional, unless you're prepared to be vulnerable, unless you're prepared to take risks, unless you're prepared to get in trouble, you're just going to be, you might as well be writing books for children. And that is an insult to good children's writers, because good children's writers know how to get children to enjoy their stories. They tap into them emotionally. It's the same.
Trying to think.
The deeper truth that you've not been living. There's a deeper truth.
Well, we've been in a pandemic.
What?
We've been in a pandemic.
Now you're talking about something specific.
Okay.
And you're not giving me an I. It's got to be an I statement.
I've been dealing with the pandemic every day for the last year.
So
Do you see how kind of random and abstract, she's gone from I've not been living to I've been dealing with the pandemic. What, eh? What, you've got a loose sprocket or something? You've just said you've not been living, and now you're talking about the coof. Come on. But it's hard. It's difficult. It's not easy. That's why most people will never achieve it.
well, the fact that you've not been living, the deeper truth is not that it's a pandemic.
And the confidence this man has got that there's a deeper truth and another is incredible, because he understands how humans operate when they're trying to communicate, which is what writing is.
It's about you. What's the deeper truth that you are not really living?
I haven't been going out anywhere.
Okay, I haven't been going out. That's good. I'll take that.
Okay, movie theaters.
But
are
don't
closed.
think about the pandemic, because
Okay.
then you're getting back to birthday cakes.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want you to do birthday cakes.
Um,
It's the story of my life and the truth of who I am. Not about a pandemic. It's the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is I've been really thinking. I've not been really living.
Right.
What's the deeper truth?
I'm confused.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
What's the deeper truth to the fact that Karen is confused?
I found out some information that my life wasn't what I had been told it was.
I mean, it's convoluted and a little bit long-winded. You know, maybe if she'd have... This is probably the first time... Well, it is the first time she's ever done this practice. But the line is, I've been lied to, or I was lied to. But so she, you know, it's frightening opening up. And she knows it's going to go on YouTube or wherever. But she says, you know, I was told something that my life wasn't quite like what I thought my life should have been, or something like that. Because she's trying to blag it. She doesn't want to be vulnerable. She wants to be protected. And he's not going to let that happen. He's going to sort of accept it, but cut the chaff.
Say that again without I found that information.
I was told my life wasn't what it really was.
No.
I mean, it's amazing. This is where she is already. Now she's saying, I've been told my life wasn't what it really was. This is massive. This is massive. From next to nothing, she's there.
Now get rid of I told myself and just make the statement.
My life wasn't what it really was.
Good. What's the deeper truth to that?
Then who was I?
Don't ask a question.
Okay.
It's got to be I. Make a
Okay.
statement.
I didn't.
I'm not who I thought I was.
I'm not who I thought I was.
Deeper truth.
I'm confused.
That was earlier.
We already had that one. Backtracking. Again, you know, fight or flight, amygdala, etc.
We're
Okay.
going deeper.
Well, I'm at a
No, as you
roadblock.
said, I'm confused.
She loves that laughter. That's a little bit of the pressure valve. You know, this is just banter, but Jack's not accepting it. Jack's not laughing along with her. Jack's not being polite because he wants to help her be a better writer. So let's keep going deeper. Let's get to the point where it counts. Let's get to the point where when you start writing, it matters. Don't giggle about blah, 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 blah. No. Because she's already said things that are breathtaking in a way. You know, awful.
Uh-huh.
I'm not really who I thought I was. What's the deeper truth?
How do we really know who we are?
Don't ask a question.
And, you know, that sort of trying to rely on talent, trying to rely on intelligence. You know, it's philosophical now. How do we know who we are? You know, does anyone know who we are? No, keep it simple. It's a simple exercise, really. It's our emotions and that vulnerability that make us complicate it, which is what we do as writers. We try and write like writers, because it protects us. It protects us from exposing ourselves on the page. But guess what? You know what readers want? People who expose themselves on the page.
Oh, I don't know who I really am now.
It's a massive statement. I don't know who I am now. If your wife or husband or child or father, mother, a significant person in your family said, could I speak to you? And you said, yeah, sure. And you sat down, you could tell by their face that it was going to be an heavy one. You know, they weren't going to ask what the football scores were. And they said, I don't know who I am anymore. It's intense. It's an intense thing to say to someone. It's more intense to be the person saying it. And that's where she is. Where did she start? She started with, I've been thinking a lot. I mean, it's so bland and of this world. I've been thinking a lot. Everyone's been thinking a lot. We all think a lot. That's what life is. You wake up and you start thinking. You go to bed and your unconscious starts thinking. So she said something that was just a nonsense trivia. And in a matter of minutes, with a few very simple prompts, I don't know who I am anymore. Wow, she's not lying. She's not lying. You know, this has been a very obvious and clear series of steps. And she's just said, I don't know who I am anymore. It's choking me up that this woman said that. But you know what we need to know? We need to know what the deeper truth is. Why? What caused that? Now, Jack's not going to say that, but he wants the deeper truth. He wants to go further and further and further.
And the deeper truth to that, you don't know who you really are. Good.
That's where I'm stuck.
I'm stuck.
I'm stuck. Okay.
And one more. What's the deeper truth to that? You are stuck.
I mean, you know, I don't know who I am anymore. And that, you know, you see him point out when she went, that's a moment of realization. These are the kinds of places that we need to be when we're writing. We need to be in those moments because we all have them. We identify with them. Even if you're writing about dragons and things, there's no point writing about all that stuff unless there's an emotional connection between the work and the reader. Not the author and the reader, by the way, the work and the reader. The author works from this place and puts it in the text. But if you can start from these kinds of positions, there's a better chance it's going to carry over to the reader. And so that realization, she's not who she thought she was. She's stuck. These are massive confessions. This is like a midlife crisis. But you know what it really is? This is life. We just usually live in a very polite and tactful world where socialising is frequently covered up with drugs and alcohol, or roller coasters, cinema, food, anything but the deeper truths of our existence. And if you want to be a writer who's writing on the level of cinemas and roller coasters and dinner parties, well, crack on. But if you want to be writing from deeper truths, this is the kind of thing you've got to do. This is the kind of thing you've got to understand. And we're going again. We're doing another one. I don't know who I am. I'm stuck.
In your life, and the truth of who you are is you are stuck. It's the deeper truth.
Whew.
Whew. That was it.
Okay.
There you are.
Overwhelmed.
Right, and you just heard her say overwhelming, and he was straight on it. Did you hear that? Whew. That's an emotional response that she's just understood something about herself that she'd previously chosen not to go there. You know, this is deep down inside her. Whew. Now, I'm not going to say anything because the next thing he says, you'll see what all this has been about. And he absolutely nails it. Watch this. This is, if you want to be a writer who has got some kind of social function, this is about to be magic for you.
No,
Oh.
just whew.
Okay.
You were down here.
Right.
When you went whew, that was right here.
Okay.
That is where you are. Now, can you hold on to that and write your story? In other words, you massage the transformation line, which is an I statement. You take it deeper, 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 deeper as the answer to the question, what is the story of my life and the truth of who I am? And you get rid of the end of the sentence, because we're not talking about the rest of the sentence. When you got to I am stuck, and then I said, what's the deeper truth? You felt it before you said it. And that's why you went, whew, because now you were down there. You didn't even have to say the words. You got there. Now, can you hold on to that And from that place of who, feel it, start to tell a story. Any story. Doesn't matter. If you start to tell the story from that place, Karen, your writing will change.
Okay.
So what story pops into your head about you being stuck?
You want the
And notice he's keeping her in that place. He hasn't given her he hasn't let the pressure off. He's not had a giggle with her. He's keeping her right there in that realisation that I've been trying to avoid this, but this bastard has dragged it out of me. And he's keeping her there. And as he said, from this place, you can write amazing things, whatever they are. It's about the place you're in where you write, not what you write. Because the place you're in, the emotional space you're in, is what gives the meaning to the work. Not the content, not necessarily. It has a place, it has something to do with it, but it's not the majority of it. This is.
The exact information? Just some information that I wasn't told about my past, my upbringing.
Tell me about it.
Well,
You know, write it. You're writing it.
I'm writing
But
it.
don't you, just now you went, well, you went up, stay down with who?
Yeah.
Stay down there.
It's still
Yeah.
pretty fresh.
Stay where it feels. Stay where you're feeling it. She tried to get out of it. No. Stay where it hurts you. Because if it's something that's hurting you and you're going to tell that story, then the reader needs to know that. Don't escape the pain, because then you won't be able to give the pain. You won't be able to transmit the pain. That's where you work from.
I found out about it accidentally. Wasn't really probably supposed to find out. And I found out, and it made me...
You're telling story.
Okay, I'm chattering.
I want you.
Whew.
I mean, she could just tell us. You know, what was all that? You know, something, and you know, I wasn't prepared. She's just avoiding it. She's just there's this sort of glaring object. Something's happened to her recently. It's here, so much so that when she was forced to confront it, she went, whew, which is quite the response when it's just two people sitting down. But when he said, well, tell me, you know, and she said she fancies herself as a writer, this woman, but, well, you know, someone said something and I wasn't really prepared for it. Whoa, what? Just tell us. It's understandable why she doesn't want to, but if you want to be special, if you want to create great works, these are the things you've got to do. These are the risks you've got to take.
When did it happen? Who? I want to know. When did that who happen?
Maybe 2 months ago.
Tell me. Tell me about it.
Just found out some information that was shocking.
Just still avoiding it. And I'm not getting at her. Most of us will do this in this situation. But look at him. Just all his gestures, all his comments are basically him saying, fucking tell me. Why won't you tell me?
And really didn't know anymore. I didn't know who I was after I found that out.
Keep going.
That was what she said a while back, so he's let her off a bit there, but, you know.
And I was angry that I wasn't told the truth.
What was the truth you were told?
And there it is again. Look, she knows it. If she didn't know it, she wouldn't respond like that. He's just said to her, what was the truth? What were you told? And her response was, oh. But if she didn't know it, she wouldn't respond like that. If he said, give me the deeper truth to what you were told, and she didn't know it, she'd be like, I don't know, I haven't got a clue. But she didn't. She was like, oh, you know, she doesn't want to confront it. She doesn't want to go there. But good storytellers, good writers, that is where they go. They go to those deep, profound human truths, because that's what people want to read.
Probably don't want to say it because it involves family and they could be listening.
Right. If you think like that and you're going to be a writer, maybe find another profession, maybe find another vocation, because you have to say things about, I write mainly autobiographical stuff. I've got myself in trouble with people I know plenty of times. That's just part of it. That's just part of it. I'm not going to keep other people's secrets. If it happened to me and they were there, I'll tell that story. I'll change their name because it doesn't matter to the story. But, if someone lumbers me with a secret, well, no, sorry, you shouldn't have done that.
Put yourself in danger.
Well, I had to confront someone. Yeah. I had to confront somebody for covering things up and not being truthful.
Okay, this is what people will buy. This is what people will pay for. They want that story.
Yeah.
And they want the scene. They want to know what the person looked like. They want to know what the dialogue was. They want to know where you were, what was the lighting like, what were there sounds. Make a movie of that scene. And as Goethe said, be brave, be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. So when you massage your transformation line and you keep going deeper and deeper, you're going to get to that sentence where you're going to go, whew, and then you start writing in that voice. Don't go up to the chit-chat voice. Stay in that deep voice and write about it. Who was it? Where were you? What was happening, etc. Now, I know you don't want to go into it here, but that is what you would do as a writer, and that's what people pay for. They don't care what your smartness. That's not important. They want the guts, because that's what they want. That's what they pay for. So you want them to buy your book, and you look at all the books that are bestsellers and that people have cherished. It's because characters have been in trouble. Characters have had a conflict. Characters had to discover things about themselves that they didn't want to look at. Something happened. That's what makes drama. That's what makes literature. Clever tales are not going to sell, but the deep truth of your life will register with everybody, because everyone will go, yeah, that happened to me too. Not exactly that way, but sort of. Hey, Joe, you got to read this. Brenda, you got to read this book. You got to read this book. You got to read this book. Because it suddenly becomes about human beings who are in conflict. And sometimes it has a happy ending where the character triumphs, learns to deal with it. And sometimes it has a tragic ending where the character is unable to deal with it.
Right.
Did you hear her voice then? Oh, and I understand that.
You're feeling it right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you can write from that place, Karen, you will make art.
Right, we'll leave it there. That's the best writing advice you're ever going to get. I'm going to leave a link to that 3.5 hour podcast. And if you are a writer and you want to improve your practice, I suggest you watch it. And it won't be a chore. It's just amazing after amazing after amazing. It's impossible to watch that and not come out of it at the other end a better storyteller. Ta-da!
Sweet!